Hear me now, and lend me your ears because you need to hear this. I'm going to give you a warning for this video. This video, it's not controversial at all, but what it is strange, very strange, because I have an equal combination of happiness and frustration rolled into one big Pokemon ball. And there's way too much energy in here and it's going to explode. Let me explain. I'm having an okay day. You know, an average day. I'm happy. I'm a happy person. But I'm frustrated right now because I tried making this video like 30 times. And I can't get across the points I want to make. And I don't want it to be too long. And I mean by too long, like some versions were literally a half an hour long. And I've spent hours now trying to make this video. It's ridiculous. But I want to get some points across and some things I want to talk about. And I'm frustrated about some things. Not really mad. Most rants are like you're really mad at something. I'm not really mad. It's more like, gosh darn mad. That kind of level. It's more of, what's the correct word? Annoyed. That's the word I'm looking for. Just a little annoyed. So I'm going to talk about some rants. Before the video really starts, too late, already started, I'm going to answer a question that someone asked solely on the reasoning that they asked in a polite way and a unique way, and they even used the term, "I would be much obliged," which I have not heard in years, and I thought it was very classy, and so I feel an obligation to this person to fulfill their request. So I'm going to do that. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Then we'll get into some of the rants. Now the rants are going to include the fact I don't like gun people, gun owners, who put down other gun owners solely on their preferences, i.e. choice of caliber, type of gun they carry, where they carry it, when they carry it, how they carry it, you know, stuff like that. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to rant a little bit about that. I'm also going to be talking about shoulder nipples. I know you did not see that coming. Shoulder nipples. What are them? What can you do to get rid of them? More on that later. I'm also going to be talking about vegetarian food, okay? Because I had an experience today at the grocery store in the produce section with vegetarian food that confused me. I literally spent 2 minutes. Now, it doesn't seem like a long time, but standing in the grocery store looking at something for 2 straight minutes is the world of a difference between looking at something at a quick glance. Stop, take out a stopwatch, and put 2 minutes and just watch the clock for 2 full minutes. It's a long time, okay? That's how like confused I was at this. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, and this is not something that's new. I've seen this many times before. I've caught it at a quick glance. Walking by, I go, oh, there it is. But today, for some reason, some strange reason, some higher power made me focus on this instead of going, hey, all right, there you are. I went, what the you know, and just picked this thing up and stared at it for 2 minutes. And then when it was all done, I threw it down. I threw it down like not hard, but with enough force, and it happened to land just perfectly flat against another box, and it made a slapping noise, which scared the crap out of the produce kid, which I'll tell you about in a second. But yeah, this box hit completely flat, which never happens, and I threw it down with a little bit of force. It was about the size of a TV dinner, okay? And I saw the thing, and I went, I don't get it. And then I threw it down, and then when it made the slapping noise, the kid is stocking the bananas, okay? This kid, maybe 16 years old. He was so skittish. It seems as if his reaction told me that he goes home every night and gets put in a cage and is beaten. That's how like skittish and scared this kid was, just from a jumpy is the word, very jumpy, just from this little noise of the boxes slapping together. It was no louder than this, you know. He must have been like really deep in thought on something, and it just like surprised him, because the second it happened, he went like this, just like that. That's the noise, and he threw a banana, okay, which almost hit me, by the way. Not that I would sue for getting hit with a banana. That's pretty lame. But very, very skittish kid, okay? But the whole point is that this annoyed me enough to have thrown the box down, which set off this chain reaction of the banana being thrown. So, with that, I will start the video. I told you it was going to be weird. Hang in there. All right, first of all, the request that someone so kindly asked me. They want to know my opinion on internet censorship. What are my thoughts? If you ask the average person what they think about internet censorship, and if they don't really understand what you're asking, you ask them more specifically, how do you feel about freedom of speech on the internet? Because that's really what it boils down to. Censorship is the opposite of freedom of speech, right? Per se. So in this hand, we have freedom of speech. This is, I can say what I want, when I want, where I want. Awesome. And here we have censorship. No, you should probably not say that here. Not a good idea. Inappropriate. I think that there should be a healthy balance of both. How peaceful. A combination. You can't have full censorship. You can't do it. It's not right, because I believe in freedom of speech. But you can't have all freedom of speech, because I believe in some censorship. It's very situational. I'll give you examples. Hang in there, I said. Please, hang in there. Here's some examples. Before I do the examples, let's say I pull the average person off the street and I stick a big old 80s style microphone in their face and say, what do you think about freedom of speech? Go. And they what? And when they finally realize what I asked, they will say, yeah, I'm for freedom of speech. I will definitely say that I like to speak my mind, and no one should stop me. There's going to be very few people, if any, that you're going to ask that question. They're going to say, you know what? No, I shouldn't be able to say what I want. You should censor me. Yeah, I don't really say good things, so don't let me say what I want to say. You're not going to find that. That's unreal. So people are going to be pro freedom of speech, but some people aren't going to realize that there are limitations. And in our society, we have right and wrong. It's not like in medieval times. There's definitely right and wrong here, and what's allowed and what's not allowed, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. There's certainly inappropriate freedom of speech. Here's where the examples come in. First example, you walk into a first grade classroom in the middle of the day while the teacher is teaching, and everyone stops and looks at you. Little kids look at you like, who's that guy? And teacher looks at you like, who are you? Can I help you? And you yell at the top of your lungs, fire! There's a fire, everyone. Get out. Come on, kids. Come on. Come on, hurry up. There's a fire. There's a fire. That's inappropriate freedom of speech. Now, you may argue before hearing this example that you would like to say what you want, where you want, whenever you want. And you would strongly agree with that. Yeah, I should not be censored. No. Not for me. But then I give you that example and you go, well, I wouldn't do that. That's not appropriate. And obviously, no, that's not appropriate. So that's where your freedom of speech is limited. And that's our society saying you can't do that. That's not anything else. That's just how we live. Our civilization to date is saying that's inappropriate because you're going to be causing panic. Your speech is having a very negative effect on others. Another example for this would be harassment. Okay? Some people may feel they have the freedom of speech, but a lot of times that would be considered harassment. I.e., an example, a very pretty woman's walking down the street. Smoking hot chick. Mid-20s. Hair color of your choice. Doesn't really matter for the story. And it's a beautiful summer day. She's wearing a very low-cut shirt, very high-cut skirt. And today she decided not to wear underwear. Woohoo for everyone. And guess what? She's counting her handful of change in the middle of the street, and what do you know? A quarter rolls off the tip of her finger and lands on the ground. Big question today is she going to go for it? You betcha. So she goes for it. Now all of a sudden she's giving everyone a nice big show. Smiling for the camera, so to speak. I shouldn't. I was going to say her lips are pretty, but not the ones on her face. Anyway. Totally inappropriate. That's what I'm talking about, people. It's totally inappropriate. But freedom of speech, right? So now, people see this. Now, here's the difference between speech and thought, because there's a huge difference. Everyone's going to see that and have a thought. Some women might see it and go, oh my God, that woman's disgusting. Or some men might see it and say, oh, yeah, about that. It doesn't matter. Any variation on that. That's a thought. We keep thoughts in our head. We don't say everything that comes to our mind. If we did, we'd all be in trouble. We'd truly live in SHTF. God forbid, God help us, the day that they come out with a piece of electronics or some kind of technology that reads our thoughts, because we're all screwed. Okay, we all are disgusting, filthy, rude people in our head, and the list goes on and on. I can't even begin with that. But our thoughts are private. That's what's so cool about it. But our speech is different. Now, to think something about this now pretty exposed woman, she's pretty and she's exposed, not, she's also pretty exposed. Anyway, we can think whatever we want, but we can't say certain things. You can't walk over to the woman and tap her on the shoulder and say, "Thank you very much for that. I think you have a wonderful looking vagina." That's inappropriate. Now, you could have certain reactions to that. It might be positive. More than likely, it's going to be negative. But let's say you'd like to follow her home, take a stroll, and tell her, you know, every single thing you'd like to do to her now that you've seen a part of her that some people don't see. And that's totally inappropriate, extremely inappropriate. In fact, it's harassment. And you will have repercussions for that, okay? You might think, freedom of speech. Let's go back to the beginning of this before you got sidetracked. I know I did. I can say what I want, when I want, where I want. Nope. Sorry, you can't. You really can't. We're very limited in our freedom of speech, but we still have it. I would say they're within reasonable limits. Believe it at that. Now that I've expressed freedom of speech and that I am pro freedom of speech, I will tell you that I am certainly pro censorship just as much. Like I said in the beginning, there is a very reasonable combination of both. On YouTube, there's many forms of censorship. You can block people. That's censoring them. You can remove their comments. That's censoring them. You can, you know, disable comments altogether. A lot of people don't like that because they lose the control of the communication, and that's what people enjoy about YouTube so much, is the communication. So I think there's definitely appropriate and inappropriate censorship, and I'll leave it at that because I spent way too much time talking about that part of the video, which is really intended to be about a 20-second conversation. And I don't know how it got to this whole big thing with the, you know, exposed woman and kids and all kinds of stuff going on there. I told you it's going to be weird, guys. I warned you. Don't give me any crap for this. I totally warned you on this one. Okay, before I get into the rants, I have to talk about this look, because before I looked at the camera making this video so many times, and I noticed that I have kind of an artsy thing going on here with the turtleneck and the thing on my chin, which looks like I fell face first into a barrel full of pubic hair. It's not... At first I liked it. It's kind of like the only beard I can grow. I want like a manly, I want a massive outdoorsman beard. I want the beard that comes with an axe, okay? That's the kind of beard I want. But I can't grow it. I mean, I look like the werewolf man, or, you know, wolf man, when I try to grow anything more than this. But this is very much like I should definitely have a paintbrush in my hand or some pastels or something. Too artsy for my taste. So I think I'm going to shave it off. I just have sparse hair growth on my face. I don't know. Maybe one day if I let it come in all the way, it might look okay. But I don't know. I don't even know why I brought that up. Oh, I know I brought that up because sometimes I'll do this. Exactly what you're seeing is I'm looking over there. I'm looking here. I'm looking there. Looking at it. Looking at you. Where'd I go? Looking at you. Where'd I go? And I'm not looking at a fly in the wall. I don't have ADD. Well, I might. It's just undiagnosed. But I'm not like just looking at nothing. Here's the camera. You're in the webcam. Boop. Sorry, I didn't mean to poke you. And here's the screen, my computer screen. So I'm looking to see where I am in frame and how I'm looking. Am I looking good? Or am I not looking good? Do I have a booger in my nose? Food in my face? That's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to establish what's going on. I wish it was over here. I could put the camera on top of the thing, but I'm just used to it over here. So that's what I'm doing when I'm looking over here, just so you guys know, because I get comments, or not comments, but I get messages on it frequently. Hey man, I saw your video, but you keep looking away. What are you looking at? I'm not looking at anything. I'm looking at the viewfinder, really, is what this comes down to. So don't be afraid. It's just a viewfinder. I should make this video over so badly. I really should. Too lazy. Too lazy today, anyway. So rants, finally getting to the rants now. How long has this video been going? And it's just time to rant. I'm sure you have some rants of your own by now. In fact, I'm going to rant about rants. Don't make rant videos. Just stop complaining. If you don't like something, you don't like something. Including this one. I shouldn't be making this one. I'm upset about my own video being upset about videos and stuff. So anyway, let's get into gun stuff. Yeah, the example I'm going to give you, it's very common in the gun community. You'll see someone say, I don't really like that you carry a 9mm, not in this way, but they'll say, you shouldn't carry a 9mm because it's not a big enough round. Simple as that. Or maybe, hey, you shouldn't carry a 45 because you can't have as many rounds. So if 5 people jump you, what are you going to do, huh? What are you going to do, buddy? With your 45, what are you going to do? It's stupid. Another example would be putting down different brands. You got a Taurus, holy crap, what a piece of crap. A common one that I've personally got is criticism on carrying condition 3. From all kinds of people, from nobodies, from law enforcement, from people who've been dealing with guns their whole life. And they heavily criticize and they'll say, you shouldn't carry condition 3 because if you do, you're not going to have time to react to a bad situation. So let me elaborate on that. Now, I'm saying in general, I'm ranting about gun people putting down other gun people because we're all part of the same team, go guns, and we shouldn't be fighting with each other. It's stupid. But I'm going to give you an example specifically to my case. And this, again, is talking about being criticized for carrying condition 3. And that is the most common thing is, well, that's stupid. You might as well leave your gun at home. Really? You really think I should leave my gun at home because I don't carry condition 1 like you do? I did what's called risk assessment, and this is just my personal preference. I feel that since I don't use my gun as often as, say, a law enforcement officer, I don't need to draw my gun every day. I don't have the worry to draw my gun every day. I have yet to pull my gun on someone. I don't plan on ever pulling my gun on someone. If I need to use it, it's going to be there. But because of the ratio of how much I'm using my gun to how ready it should really be, that's just my preference that I chose condition 3. It works for me. It's the way that I personally train with my gun, and I'm used to it. Okay, but for someone else to say you shouldn't bring anything. This video is horrible. You should just might as well leave your gun at home because you're not going to be ready for an attack. Here's what I say to you in the most kind way. Is first of all, I have a gun. Okay, support the fact that I'm carrying a gun and that I'm a good citizen. Okay, right off the bat, you should show me your support for that. In addition to that, I have a gun. There's a lot of people who walk around with no guns. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. Well, definitely millions of people who walk around with no guns. There's people, and here's another mini rant, is America and guns. A lot of people who watch gun channels. First of all, if you're not into guns, why are you watching a video about guns? That's a whole rant within itself. But on top of that, there's definitely a lot of people who are in different countries who feel that everyone in America is a gun-toting freak. And that couldn't be further from the truth. There are hundreds of thousands of people in America who've never even seen a gun. People who have no interest in guns, people who are born, raised, and die never touching a gun, and they never needed a gun. So no, you don't need a gun to defend yourself. Gun owners have them because we have the right to have them. We have the understanding that options are good. That's what it boils down to. So why not? If I can have it, why not have it? It's just being prepared. But a lot of people in other countries think that everyone in America are gun people. And that no, there's plenty of people in America who hate guns and or have never seen them or used them or are scared of them. So don't think that. That's a very common misconception. Going back to the condition 3 thing. Got to get a deep breath. Talking too much. Yeah, I have a gun on me, okay? So I already have an advantage. Now, on top of me already having an advantage of having a gun, I do actually have rounds in the gun. So if I need to use them, I can use them. Yes, I have a split-second delay in displaying and using my gun as opposed to someone in condition 1. But for me, the payout for having that split-second delay is the confidence and the knowledge that my gun will not fire at all unless I go through the motion of first, and this is important, first chambering around before touching the trigger. So it's peace of mind for me, okay? I can walk around with a gun in condition 1 and be slightly more ready. Yes. But with that comes the danger of accidental discharges. And it's not that I don't trust myself, it's just I'm trying to limit the possibilities for an accident. You can't control accidents, but you can do your best to try not to have them. And that's all I'm doing. So that's it's a compromise for me, and I'm totally cool with that. That's fine. But don't, support that I'm a gun owner and then I'm being positive about guns and then I'm responsible with guns. Don't tell me that I'm doing something wrong. Don't tell other people that they're doing something wrong just because they don't agree with you. And here's the mindset I think these people have. I feel that these people are thinking, here's what I picked. Let me give you an example here to try to make more sense. I have a 1911 because the 1911 is the most reliable gun in the world and 45 ACP is the only bullet you should use. This is my choice. Therefore, if you don't have what I have, you're wrong. Because I'm not wrong. I'm too egotistical for that. I have to be right because this is what I choose. I would always choose the best option. So therefore, if you don't have my option, you must be wrong. Therefore, you must be an idiot. And I'm going to belittle you and I'm going to make you feel stupid for your decision because you didn't pick what I picked, which is obviously right. That, I believe, is the subconscious thought pattern of these individuals who make fun of other gun owners for their preferences. If you have a gun, you are way ahead of the game. I don't care if it's a black powder revolver. Okay, you have a gun. Lots of other people don't, period. So that's enough about guns. Let's talk about shoulder nipples. Yes, seems like a fun, exciting subject, doesn't it? Shoulder nipples. What am I talking about? I'm talking about when you take a shirt out of your closet that's been hanging on hangers and the ends of the hangers have poked up the material on your shirt as to give you a shoulder nipple. Why is it called a shoulder nipple? I don't know where it came from. It, kind of is referring to, say, a hard nipple under the shirt where it's protruding out. And it appears as if you have a nipple on your shoulder, apparently. It's just something I've always heard my entire life are shoulder nipples. Don't know why. I don't think it's a territorial thing. I don't think it's like it's a Jersey thing. I think it's just a weird thing. But yeah, they're called shoulder nipples if you didn't know. And I think the reason that these shoulder nipples happen is because you put your shirt away. Either your shirt's very heavy and it's weighing down on the hanger, so it's putting pressure on that, creating more pressure in the one specific spot. Or you're putting your clothes away and they're not completely dried. Okay, so as they dry, it's staying in that same form. But shoulder nipples, no one likes them. I don't think there's a single fan of shoulder nipples out there. So here's what you can do to prevent shoulder nipples. All right, first of all, make sure your clothes are dry before you hang them. Very simple. And number two, if need be, wrap a simple layer of tape on your hanger. If you have a specific shirt that's a thin material or heavy, like I said, just on the very ends, wrap a little bit of tape around there as to break up the pattern of the hanger, and you will lose your shoulder nipple. But for some reason, they annoy me. When I see someone with shoulder nipples, I'm focused on those nipples. Now, if you skipped around the video and that's all you heard is it went from guns, and then the next part you heard was I don't like, and the next part you heard was focus on those nipples. Now I got your attention. So for all you people, skipping around the video, there you go. I don't like them. They grab my attention for some reason, as do all nipples. If you have a hard nipple on your shirt, it's certainly going to grab my attention. But now it's on your shoulder, so I'm even more focused on it. Why? Why isn't it on your shoulder? I know you don't physically have a nipple on your shoulder. Chances are that you have a third nipple is very slim, but even if you did, it'd probably be on the side of your abdomen or maybe underneath your breast. It wouldn't be on your shoulder. But now I'm intrigued. You got my attention. Shoulder nipple. Oftentimes when I'm talking to someone, and don't be offended by this, I will reach over and actually poke down on your shoulder nipple because it bugs me that much. Without even a warning, I will just reach over mid-sentence and just poke down on it. So if you ever meet me in person, be warned. They bug me. That's why I'm doing a rant on them. I don't know why. It's so stupid, but it was annoying. So I don't like them. So let's try to rid the world of shoulder nipples. You can keep the real hard nipples. They're okay. They're fun. They're whimsical. Just awesome. But yeah, no shoulder ones. The last thing I want to talk about, let's get back to that vegetarian food. What in God's name could have disgusted me that much and confused me that much and angered me as to toss it down in a somewhat aggressive manner, thereby setting off the chain reaction of the noise and the banana from the kid being so scared and throwing it. I'm talking about fake meat. That's right. I said it. Fake meat. Vegetarian meat. Vegetarian bacon, specifically, is what I saw. But next to it was vegetarian chicken cutlet, vegetarian hamburger. No, 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 no. It's like a black hole in the universe. It makes no sense at all. Why? This is actually frustrating. The other things are just kind of funny. I think you're cheating. If you're a vegetarian and you're having fro turkey, okay, or vegetarian bacon, you, sir, or you, ma'am, are a cheater. When you became a vegetarian, whether it's been recent or long-term, whatever, you made a conscious decision not to eat meat. Yes, this is such a stupid topic, but it bugs me. It really bugs me. If I was Peter Griffin, I would say that it definitely grinds my gears. You know what really grinds my gears? Not that that's a very good impression at all. Not even close. But yes, this grinds my gears. Vegetarian meat. Vegetarian bacon. No. See, here's how this works if you didn't understand already. You're a vegetarian. You don't get bacon. You gave up that deliciousness. That wholesome. Oh my God, it's salty. It's got a little bit of sweet, just fatty and just delicious bacon. Oh. You gave that up. See, you're a vegetarian. You don't get that. I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, all you veggies out there, if you're a vegetarian, you don't eat meat mainly because you don't want to hurt animals. You don't feel that you should kill animals for food because we're in such a technologically advanced state that we can eat lettuce and just live on smiles and happiness. And that's all we need to put in our body. If you're into that, and no disrespect meant, I know I'm trying to be funny about it, but if you're a vegetarian, that's cool. I really don't care. It doesn't affect me in the slightest. But you gave up meat. You can't have fake meat. Where's the logic there? You don't want to kill Porky the Pig, but you tasted him once and he was darn good. So tell you what, let's put together a flour and a little bit of joy and some sugar or whatever goes into it, you know, compressed cardboard. I'm not really sure what it is, but you make this fake bacon. So now you can still enjoy the taste of bacon, but with, you know, totally guilt-free. Whippy! I got guilt-free bacon. No, sorry. That goodness only comes from cute animals. But what I don't understand, and I'm hoping you can explain to me, because there must be something that makes sense here. If you don't want to eat the cute piggy, then why would you make fake piggy? I'll tell you why, because it tastes really good. You know, and you might think, well, that's fine. Why can't I make fake piggy? No, you're missing the whole point here. If you don't want to kill animals, you don't want to eat meat, you don't get meat. Meat. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I'm being narrow-minded here. Am I being narrow-minded? It could be. Anyway, that is my rant, or a collection of rants and collection of just strange thoughts, maybe. Let me know what you think. If you are a vegetarian, let me know what the concept is behind that. I would imagine it's just like, okay, well, I don't want to kill animals, but, you know, they taste really good, so let's make some fake animal. That's a good compromise. Yeah, but I don't know why. It seems like it's cheating. Is that just me? Does anyone else agree with me? It's cheating. It's like if, I don't know, if you got married to a woman and you tell her, hey, honey, you know, I love you to death. I swear to God, I'll never, ever cheat on you with another woman in my life. You are perfect. And then you decide to just have sex with men from now on besides her. So this way you can have more sex, but technically you're not supposed to have sex with another woman because you already have a woman. So it's cheating. It's still cheating. You know, like I don't get the vegetarian bacon. I don't get it. And by the way, if you had it before, is it any good? Oh, and vegan cheese. Don't even get me started with vegan cheese. Cheese, fake cheese. Cheese that's not cheese. There's no Dairy productless cheese. What? I mean, we already have plenty of non-milk milk. You know? Okay. I'm going to stop there because A, I yawned, which means I'm tired. B, I have something else to do. And 3, I think if I continue with this conversation, either smoke's going to come out of my ears or I'm going to have an aneurysm. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy, guys. Alright, so now my bowl is lit. Now, it's cold out here. Alright, I am halfway through the bowl now. It's freezing out here. It's really, really cold. So, I will continue smoking this bowl, and when I get down to the end, I'll let you know my opinions. I kind of wish that this smoked a lot hotter because it would keep my hands warmer, but it's not. Ugh. It is really, really, really cold out here. Man, is it cold. I am going to most likely wait until spring for more of these because, like I said, for me it's not an addiction. It's a hobby. It's something that's enjoyable and relaxing, and I don't need it. And I certainly don't need to be sitting out in the cold for it. So until springtime, I'll see you with the other videos. Knife stuff, Zippo stuff, all kinds of goodies. But pipes will have to go on hold for a little bit, in hibernation until it gets warm. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.